Welcome to Gardening 101. I know it's been about 5 weeks since the last video. I apologize. I've been busy. I do have another channel called The Rusted Garden, which has been getting a lot of attention. You can find videos over there. So in last episode, I showed you different container options for growing your tomato plants, and I showed you these when the plants were only about a foot tall. Look how much they have grown in about 5 weeks. Packed full of tomatoes. Some issues going on. I'm going to go over that with you so you know what they are, so that you can start looking for them in your garden. But they've been staked up. I've pruned out the bottom leaves. That's something that you want to do, is let air circulate through the bottom. Slowly do that. But the plants here have been dealing with a leaf spot disease, and let me show you what that looks like. You can look and see right on those leaves all those little dots. That's typically called leaf spot. Now these have been sprayed. I'm going to go over spraying in this video, some of the basics. Number one point I want to stress is anytime you come up with a new spray to use in your garden, if it comes from me, anybody, test spray. Test spray a couple of leaves, wait 48 hours, look for damage. You don't want to douse all of your plants with a new spray until you kind of see what it does. So we'll talk about spraying, taking care of this leaf spot. But I am really happy with the production. I mean, look at all the tomatoes in there. Doing really well. That's a Baxter's bush, just packed full of tomatoes. Let me swing around here. That's my hops vine growing in a self-watering container. We'll talk about that in another episode. Also wanted to show you real quick some of the tiny Tim tomatoes. They are growing in flower boxes and right here in this container. If you don't have a lot of space, you can get the dwarf tomatoes. I do recommend the tiny Tim. They do really, really well. Okay, let's walk out into this main garden. I'm going to show you some pepper plants and talk about what we're going to do there. This is one of my pepper gardens. You can see it's not mulched. Mulching will keep the weeds down, so I'm going to pull the weeds out of here, put some mulch down, but before I do that, I'm going to top dress them. I'm going to show you how to top dress your peppers. You only want to do that about one time a year with peppers. They don't need a lot of fertilizer once they're going. If you overfeed them too much nitrogen, you're going to get a lot of leaf growth. And they kind of do better when they suffer a little bit, in my opinion. They produce more flowers, produce more fruit. And you can see those are Hungarian wax. They're doing really, really well. But we're going to clear this out. I'm going to show you a basic top dressing. You want to put mulch down, control weeds, help maintain moisture. Your tomato plants, your pepper plants can suffer sometimes, more so tomatoes, with blossom end rot, and that can be a watering issue. So if you can set up your beds to have consistent moisture, your plants are going to do a lot better. So we'll take care of that today too. Here are some more of the container plants that were in the last video. Those are eggplant, doing really well. Going to stake them up, basically give them support as the fruit comes on. Your peppers, your tomatoes, you really do need to stake them in containers because the weight's going to pull them down, and a lot of times branches will break off. The potatoes, actually I can see them in there. Here's a potato right there. They're starting to die off now that it's mid-June and the heat's coming, and that's typically what they do. You get them in the ground early spring, let them do their thing, they die back, and we'll be harvesting potatoes in another episode. This area here is my shelving system that I set up using ShirleySimpleShelving.com. You can go over there if you want to check it out. But they sell these really cool brackets. They come in different colors. I also have a rusted version for the rusted garden where they do rust, which I like that patina. But these shelving brackets, these frames, really allow you to create more space for your garden. And I've transitioned this over from where all my seed starts were to nothing but herbs. I've got chives in there, garlic chives, thyme up top, rosemary, lavender, mints, more thyme, more chives. I use it a lot. And you can see that you can use containers nicely to really get herbs growing. And it's right by my deck. I walk out here, I use them when I need them in the kitchen. Basil, one tip, you can see all the basil coming in. That's from a seed pack. They're warm weather crops. So you can grow them in a container just like that. A seed pack costs you about $1.50. Sprinkle in some seeds, thin them later. They come up quickly. That's not even a week's worth of time there. They've already germinated. And the reason I say that is because you might go to Home Depot or Lowe's, pick up your herbs. They're like $3. When you buy cilantro, when you buy basil already grown, and you're paying $3 a plant, by the time you get them home, put them in the ground, they've been growing for a while. They're going to just flower and fade. You're not going to get anything really useful out of them. So Skip the transplants from stores. Don't pay $3 a plant for cilantro and basil. Just get some seed packs and just drop them in to containers just like this, or go put them out in your earth beds. But using shelving is a great way to really put your herbs in one place. You can tend them, take care of them, get everything you need for cooking, and it saves you a whole lot of room. All right, let's get back to the peppers and tomatoes, and we'll do a top dressing, and I'll talk to you about what that means. So top dressing is pretty straightforward. You do the same thing for the plants in the ground. We'll do that for the peppers, but for the tomato plants, you can see surface roots. Tomatoes will send out surface roots. You want to go ahead and take about 2 tablespoons, this is 1 tablespoon of any organic fertilizer. I always recommend stay around a 5-5-5. We want to cover up the roots. We don't really want the fertilizer sitting straight on there. And put in 1 or 2 tablespoons into a container. We put it in on the top, gently scratch it in, and then come back, water it in, and you've top dressed your tomatoes. You want to do that when you really get first fruit. These are a little bit bigger. Maybe do it a week earlier, but just give it a top dressing. Now, when you're feeding these your water-soluble fertilizers, you can use whatever you like. I do recommend a organic fertilizer. You want to feed these every 7 to 14 days with an organic fertilizer with a low NP and K. Try and stay around a 5-5-5. Up or down a little bit is fine. You don't want to over nitrogen your plants. And again, you would do it every 7 to 14 days depending on size and growth. So I cleaned up this area a little bit. Just take the weeds down to ground level. You don't even have to get the roots out. We're going to put down about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of shredded hardwood. I recommend shredded hardwood because this is going to break down quickly. It'll take about 1 year to 2 years to break down, and then you can turn it into your soil. You never want to take wood chips or mulch that haven't composted down and then turn them into the depth of your soil, because as these break down underneath your soil, the microbes are going to need nitrogen to break this down. It's going to take nitrogen from your plants. So a myth you might hear is, oh, you can't put shredded hardwood or hardwood chips on top of your soil. It's going to damage your plants. That's not true. You can totally just drop mulch on top of your soil. That's not going to challenge your plants for nitrogen. Now for top dressing, peppers tend to do a lot better when they're not overfed or over fertilized. So we're going to just take about a tablespoon and sprinkle it around the plant. Scratch it in if you need to. We're going to put mulch on there. When it rains, that will break down, that will get to the plant. Remember, tomatoes and peppers send out surface roots. The habanero is struggling. We're going to give that a big drink of nitrogen just to see if we can get it going. But you don't want to overfeed your plants, your pepper plants, with nitrogen. This is actually a 3-4-6 fertilizer. If you can find it, get a lower nitrogen when you're feeding your peppers, higher potassium, higher phosphorus. That's what they want for flower and fruit production. In the containers up here, it's going to do the same thing. About a tablespoon, just scratch it in. That's all you have to do. After this feeding, I'm really going to leave these guys alone. I might give them 1 or 2 light water-soluble feedings because we're only in the middle of June, maybe once in July, once in August. But don't overfeed, don't overlove your pepper plants. All right, let me get the mulch down to show you what that looks like, and then I'm going to just tie these to the posts, which I don't need to show you. It's pretty straightforward. But I wanted to show you what I did. You can angle the posts outward. Notice how they're kind of aiming away from the center. That will let more airflow in there. So when you're dropping your posts, they don't have to be all straight. Go ahead and move them at angles so that you open up airflow. And airflow just helps keep moisture out of the plants, humidity out of the plants, and really helps with disease management. The last thing I wanted to show you is I'm growing 2 pepper plants really per space, and they're doing extremely well. A lot of people say you can only grow 1. There's 2 right in there. Look how well that's doing. Go ahead and pack some of your pepper plants together. You'll get more production, you'll get more peppers to your table, and you don't need to space them out as much as we are told. Okay, let me clean this up and show you what it looks like. So to tie them up, you can see I just loosely put some jute around the stake and around the stems. Pepper stems are really fragile, so be careful when you're doing that. And you also want to get them supported now because the weight of the fruit will actually break the branches. And here's another example. Just tie the plants to the post and that'll be enough support for them. Alright, so mulching does three things really. 1, suppresses weeds. 2, conserves moisture. And 3, stops dirt from splashing up on the undersides of your plants. And you can see how nice it really looks mulched up compared to the space I haven't gotten to yet. And you can see all the dirt on the containers. Well, when you mulch, you stop that from happening. So one, the containers will look better, but that's not why you would do it. That same dirt will splash up on the undersides of your leaves. It can cause a problem by suffocating your leaves if it's a lot, or if you have diseases that are soil-borne in your area, you don't want that. Let's fix this nozzle here. If I can do it one-handed. After you mulch everything in, after you top dress, really get in there, soak the area down, and you're good to go. So this is the after. I think it looks really good. Mulch taken care of. And this is the area that will be finished up. All I did was weed it, but that mulch will go down soon. Okay, let's get to spraying. So the first thing I did for the tomatoes that have the leaf spot, and it's all contained in the area right up here. These are kind of close together. We had crazy rain, humidity, more rain, so it was just perfect for leaf spot. Then we had cool nights. Go in, take out the infected leaves. I know it's harsh, but cut them back. There's lots of great green growth up top. Remove the damaged leaves, and these have already been sprayed down. Make sure you spray the tops and the bottoms. I'm using a baking soda spray, 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon. If you've never used it before, test spray. You should always test spray any spray. Wait 48 hours, look for damage. So spray the tops, spray the bottoms, really coat everything nicely. I'll show you how I do the spraying out of my garden with my indeterminate varieties. These are mostly determinate type tomatoes, so they are the first ones to flower, set fruit, and eventually they're going to die. They get to a set height and they die back. Let's get out to the indeterminate tomatoes and we'll spray. Before we get over to the tomatoes, peppers real quick. Just going to spray the tops, get underneath, spray the undersides. I don't have that many problems with disease on my peppers. They do get some sort of spot, so I don't spray them as often as my tomatoes. My tomatoes will definitely deal with early blight come July, so I really stay up on them. But a quick spray of the peppers, tops, and then the undersides. That's all you really need to do. And the key is really to know what diseases come to your garden, what plants are affected by diseases, and start spraying 2 to 4 weeks early. This is another section of my garden. These are my indeterminate tomatoes. They're going to continue to grow. They'll get 6-7 feet tall. Unlike the determined tomatoes, which get to a set height, set fruit, and then they die off. So spraying's pretty straightforward. Again, just like the peppers, you're going to spray the tops down, get all of the leaves, and then you want to make sure you get the undersides. Now the indeterminate varieties out here look pretty good. I've seen a couple of spots, but nothing like up on the deck. I do recommend you spread your tomatoes out in different places in your garden. That's one way to manage diseases. We will definitely be getting, as we do every year, early blight rolling in, so I start spraying ahead of time to really protect my plants from that. And that's all you need to do. 7 to 14 days based on how often it's raining and what's going on in your garden. Hope you subscribe to my channel. We're going to continue with Gardening 101 weekly now. The next video will really show you how to prune tomatoes, and we'll be talking a lot more about peppers, tomatoes, and really taking care of them for the season. Thanks for watching.